Hello everybody, welcome to today's Championship review live stream. Please make yourself known if you are in the feed. We did have a few technical problems last time, so you'd be doing me a favour if you did. Game week 8 in the Championship is all done now. Some draws right at the very top, but some big moves for Preston, West Brom, QPR and Forest all shuffling up into that top six. New team at the foot of the table with none of the bottom five getting a win. Let's go through every team, every game, see what happened, get your thoughts in down the side. And I need to apologise. I say I'll go through every team, every game. Last time I did forget Sheffield Wednesday versus Fulham, which I was reminded of in the comments. So I do apologise for that. So we will definitely talk about Sheffield Wednesday and Fulham. But first of all, and they are still top, is Leeds United. It's Leeds 1, Derby County 1. Derby, well, they've got a bit of a hex in, I say in these last couple of games, in the last minute of this game and the second half of the playoff semi-final. It's 1-1 here, a very, very late goal by Chris Martin saves it. So 20 minutes, it's an own goal from Max Lowe after Dallas's shot got blocked. 69, Bamford's going to hit the post. Bamford's going to miss that little lob over. And then Klitsch tries the penalty that Cantona used to do, where you saunter up, wait for the keeper to go and roll it in the other corner. He rolls it wide of the post. The commentator said, oh, this one's going to have a sting in it at that time. You just kind of knew. In we go into injury time. Lowe goes down the right-hand side, gets in. It's good play by Patterson. He's composed. He doesn't panic in there. Obviously, the Leeds guy's scared of giving away a penalty. Patterson turns, gives it to Chris Martin, who hasn't done anything for about 18 months of his career, but he sticks this in the corner and still gives it the big one. So we still know Chris Martin's temperament hasn't changed at all. But at this level, he's always been a decent enough striker. So Leeds dropping points again at home. Derby just robbing them. And I think even the staunch Derby fans would probably admit hashtag smash and grab there at Ellen Road. Leeds stay top, and there's no cause for panic here. 17 points from 8 games, so they were above the 2 points per game. Well on top again in the XG. Every game Leeds have dropped points in. You argue the metrics say that they should have won all of these games. So there is still an idea that even though Leeds are top, even though they've got very good points total, that they could have a few, I won't say quite a few, but definitely a few more points in there. 1 goal in 5 now for Bamford, and we all know how that pressure is going to build up. Bamford is a better all-round team player than Nketiah, but they need a good all-round team player. They keep the ball so well and create so many chances that maybe they do just need a goal scorer in here. And you know, when that goes up 7 games, 8 games, people will start calling for Nketiah to come in and be the starter, the guy on loan from Arsenal. So interesting stuff at Leeds, and I will be at a couple of Leeds future games now at Charlton and at Millwall, so I will be able to give you first-hand reports on how Leeds are doing. I don't really know why I'm saying that, because we all know exactly what they're going to do. Plan A is plan A is plan A for Leeds, but not quite working out. No wins in 7, 8 points, 5 draws in there, so we can see where the points are getting dropped. Joseph Zoon in for Lawrence, but otherwise this looks like Koku's strongest team here. He needs the players now to step up and hopefully deliver. Harry says, why does Costa not play? It's beyond me. I think Bielsa is going to run this into the ground now, and when it's desperate for a change to make, then you'll see Costa and you'll see Nketiah. Nick says, am I jinxed for Leeds? Absolutely not. Leeds win percentage is fantastic with me watching. 2 home games in the next 3 coming up for Derby They need to put a win on the board, don't they? And either side of the international break derby have Barnsley, Luton and Charlton, the three promoted teams in consecutive games. Harry says Bielsa has to change it. Now, he's a stubborn old one though, Bielsa, isn't he? So expect lots of unchanged. Maybe a 3-game week is where he will have to change it. But then he'll probably say. Trev Yellow says Derby won't give Koku long. Can't see him being in charge this time next month. We do know how many games are we away now? We're 3 games away from another international break. It will be here, not this weekend, but next weekend. And that is a graveyard for managers, the October international break, isn't it? So we will see. Moving on, game number 2 is Bristol City versus Swansea. 0-0 here. Both sides probably take that, although given it's a home game, I'm sure Lee Johnson would have wanted the win. Stats say this one was really, really tight. 0.02 in favour of the Swans on the XG, with Jeju, though, missing the highest percentage chance for Bristol City. Swansea stay second, so they're still level on points with Leeds. There is a slight trend downwards over the 2 games, though, isn't it? They've only picked up 1 point from the last 2. Remember, they came out of the last international break with the lead. I think they've won 5 on the trot as well. So they're going to want to click back into gear. 3-game week next week, which we're going to mention a lot through the stream today. Bristol City dropped down to 7th. That seems a bit tough on them, considering how well they've been playing. Jack says Johnson always seems to do a decent job with Bristol City. He needs to deliver this season, Jack, though, doesn't he? There is that feeling now, and I think he needs a playoff finish this season to prove that they're still on an upward trend. 15 points, though. Some of the chasers going past them. It's all fairly tight in there, though, isn't it? First game without a Phobie. We wish him well. That is a knee injury. Someone will correct me in the feed if I'm wrong about that. Johnson, interestingly, didn't go with Jeju from the start. It was Smodjic and Vyman, but Jeju comes in after half hour for Baker, who is another centre-half possibly injured. Matthew says Bidwell should not have been sent off. Didn't mention that. Bidwell goes in the 90th minute red card for the Swans. So problem possibly with Baker's calf and Callas already out. Don't know when Thomas Callas is coming back. He seems to have some options in midfield, but I'm sure he'd rather have one more centre-half and one less midfielder at the moment, Lee Johnson. So both sides kind of set up pretty well, I would say, at the moment as we go in to the 3-game week. Ipswich questions in there. Will Holy win the Golden Glove at this rate? He will. Animation says Williams must be even more dearly loved by Swansea. Story of Baker's career, says hip to the game, especially during his time at Villa. Seems to have loads of potential though, Baker, doesn't he? But middling Championship player, unfortunately, is where it's turning out. 3rd game, Birmingham 0, Preston 1. Impressive stuff from Preston here. 23rd minute, Sean Maguire. I've seen Paul Gallagher take this free kick a million times, where he scored this exact goal against Ipswich last season, in fact, where he goes really low under or to the side of the wall. They catch the keeper out. I think it bounces off the post, actually. And is it Crowley in the wall and needs to hang his head in shame for letting Maguire go, and he slots it into the empty goal. Preston move up to 3rd. 16 points, 2 points per game for Preston. Really, really good stuff from the Lily Whites and Alex Neil. We said they need to add some away wins to their really good home form, and here we go. I know Birmingham have been a bit inconsistent, but Birmingham were up there, and they're not pushover this season, so this is a good result. 4 wins in the last 5 as well. They do have the small matter of Manchester City on Tuesday. Harrop and Barkhosen in today, rotating well up top. Nick says, Birmingham fan, we don't know our best formation yet. He seems to be fairly set on the 4-4-2. Animation Station says, Alex Nilsson, Maguire's a 15-goal striker. Well, the last guy playing wide for Preston scored a lot of goals, went to Sheffield United for a load of money. So Preston may be doing it again and again and again with their excellent trading they do. Blues still inconsistent here, aren't they? They're 11th, 13 points from 8 games. Some really eye-catching results, but then a couple of hefty defeats against Forest and against Swansea. Still not really many draws in there. I mean, we all know that draws aren't really worth a hell of a lot. Nick says Blues playing 4-4-2, but with no wingers. There you go. So that may be an issue. Maybe we'll see a 4-2-3-1 come in there. Maybe even some wing backs there. Gary Monk really wedded to that system last season. I know a few of those wide players not there anymore, but we'll see what we do. Side looks inconsistent. Consistent, the side that's been put out, but the results are inconsistent for Birmingham. So the results belying the selection at the moment. Game number 4, West Brom 4, Huddersfield 2. This looked like a fun one on Sky. I had to work on Sunday, so I would like to watch this, but I caught this on the radio on the way down. Pollyanna, Hull are game number 11, I think. So Hull, hang on in there. We always go through top to bottom. So 16 minutes, Huddersfield take the lead. Nice, some really good finishing in this game, actually. Campbell round the corner to O'Brien, strides through, bangs that in with his left foot. Eric says, my oh my, West Brom to win the league for me. Interesting. Can't see past Leeds at the moment, but West Brom undefeated, aren't they? Furlong down the wing. Austin knocks off to Phillips. That one's in off the post, right in the corner as well. Then lovely ball by Kachunga here, outside of the foot here, and slides it in there. Baggy's fan says, need Higazi back to solidify the defence, and I would add to that Gibbs as well, but totally agree, Higazi will make a difference. George says first half we were poor, second half brilliant. Great ball by Kachunga though, outside of the foot, puts Grant in now. He sticks it right in the corner as well, posting in I think as well. Diangana, left-footed cross. He always makes a difference, Diangana. Always does something, doesn't he, for a goal or an assist. Furlong smacks the header in off the post. QPR next, Billy, hang around. And then another assist for Diangana. Wriggles down the side. Phillips side foots that one in. I swear if you play Phillips 40 games in this league, he definitely gets 10 goals for you, doesn't he? Very consistent at this level. 89, Ajayi makes it safe. This guy is massive. Why don't people pick him up from corners? That's 2 weeks running. He's got goals from corners. Obviously, his movement and his timing must be good. West Brom move up to 4th, and they're also on 2 points per game now. And they are undefeated in those 8 games. Lots and lots of stats about West Brom going behind. They have been behind a total of 8 times in 8 games. Now, I did tweet this yesterday and someone tried to argue with me. I'm not saying they've been behind in every game. They've been behind a total of 8 times because they were behind twice in this game. Pereira and Kravinovic in the 3 behind Austin. So he's still trying and rotating different players off the front there. But he's got a lot of match winners there, hasn't he? With Austin, Kravinovic, Pereira, Diangana, all creative, good players for providing goals and assists and chances. Doing it the hard way, but the upside if you're a West Brom fan is, imagine you stop going behind in every game. This is going to look very, very easy, isn't it? So something building there if this works out for the best for Slaven Bilic. Huddersfield, well, they are now bottom, which we will talk about. 1 point from 8 games. Cowley says it's not, excuse me, going to turn around straight away. So, they just need a win from somewhere, and they really don't want to go through that 3-game week still losing. I believe that's 6 defeats on the bounce as well. Mr. Bear says if Leeds had a proper striker, I think they would walk the league. That was a point made a lot of times last year if Adams or Pookie or Sharp were playing for Leeds. Huddersfield are going one way. Super League says, imagine what we're going to do to Huddersfield. Well, we will see. Carl and Grant doing his bit up front for Huddersfield. If you want to hear my detailed comments on this, look elsewhere on the channel. My match review is there. First time I've been down to the Den this season. No goals in the first half. Neil Harris matching up with Mark Warburton with a 3-5-2. QPR take the lead on the break. Naki Wells curls one in very nicely with the left foot. Bit of a lucky bounce, but it was a good counter before the finish. Hutchison equalises. I was calling him Hutchison. Hutchinson on 71 sweeps in from a corner. Then, oh God, my man on loan from Ipswich, Białkowski makes a terrible mistake. Comes out to sweep up. Horrible clearance there. Mr. Bloom, get yourself to Preston v Leeds. Preston's a hard one for me. Whoever asked that one, I'm in Bedfordshire. That's a long way. I have done it before. That's a long way. I have done it before. So QPR take this one 2-1, and they're up to 5th. 4 wins in a row, and I thought they looked really good. Team looks really well balanced. The 3 centre halves spread out, and you've got an ex-Brentford player, so he's comfortable on the ball. And then you've got an ex-Premier League midfielder the other side. So both sides are comfortable on the ball. The wing-backs look good, especially Manning. Ball sits there in the middle and sweeps up. No more Wagamamas. Check. I'm going to Milton Keynes on Wednesday. Check out the Wagamamas there. I'll no doubt end up there again. Eze and Chair looked very good. The 2 young guys, and Wells and Hugel both had 5 goals. So QPR, if they can keep that 11 on the pitch and build up the pattern of play, it could be a good season for them. They need to tighten up defensively a little bit, but I very much liked what I saw. Millwall, restless natives there, I think. 16th now, 9 points. I was really excited about them a few weeks ago. Seemed like they had lots more options, better squad now, but no wins in 5, and a few people on Harris's back that I've spoken to on Twitter this past week. So interesting to see the next few weeks at Millwall. Forest 1, Barnsley 0 is game number 6. 56 here, lovely goal for Forest. Lolly to Cash, clipped finish on the right foot by Ben Watson, great stuff there. Forest are up to 6th, but I think we all saw this one coming from a way off. We know they've had a quite hard set of fixtures, and it should now, their good form should now start to pay dividends, I think. 72nd and only have 5 points. The narrative has been the whole time, not enough championship experience, getting the 12 new players signed in the summer to settle. Well, it's been a few weeks now. Animation says Barnsley were decent, to be fair. Yeah, they did edge the XG, like I said. So maybe there is an upside there for Barnsley. Positives, like I say, they were competitive and couldn't get past Samba. But it is 4 defeats in 5 for Barnsley. Moving on. Wigan 2, Charlton 0. Not a good couple of games for Charlton. Che Dunkley is now a goal machine, apparently, from centre half. Craig just quickly says we would have lost that last season. Something brewing at Forest. Che Dunkley, 3 goals in the last 2. He scores his first one here. Quite a clever goal, this one. Oshialaja, if I've said that right, is too busy getting a bit handsy in the box, and Dunkley, as they're holding each other, just flicks out his leg and volleys it in the corner. Big climb from another corner for his second. 3 goals in 2 games. So Charlton will hate to hear it, but is this the regression to the mean? Are they hitting where they're more likely to be in the middle of the table? Though I'm sure, given the ownership stuff and the fact they're a newly promoted team, they'd be quite happy to be sat in the middle of the table come the last couple of games. But they just had such a great start, didn't they? 2 defeats. This seems a bit harsh, doesn't it? Dropped all the way to 8th. They were 2nd, were they, a couple of weeks ago? 14 points, though, from 8 is still a really good start for the Addicts. How badly are they missing Lyle Taylor, though? 2 zeros in the column since he has gone out injured. If anyone knows in the feed how long Lyle Taylor is out for, let me know. That's going to be key to them, I think. Derek says Wigan seem to get themselves out of trouble. Yes, they always seem to. No wins in 7 for Wigan before this game, but now unbeaten in 3. Something to cling on to. Clean sheets in the 2 home games. This looks very much like last season, doesn't it? Just getting dragged down by their away form and just keep clawing themselves slightly away, and then get into gear at about Easter and get a couple of wins on the trot and survive. 19th, 8 points from 8. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. I'm actually going to do Sheffield Wednesday versus Fulham because I forgot in the preview, so I apologise for that again. Wednesday 1, Fulham 1, Wednesday with the very late equaliser. Apparently, Newey makes a habit of this, and yes, I saw one at Portman Road last season in a 2-2 draw. A very, very late goal from the big guy up top. 42nd minute, Brian very deep on the left, crosses it in. Westwood not the best, he palms it out. Kearney sticks it in. We said the front three need help from other players in that team to get on the score sheet. I know the front three's superb, but I think they'd scored 9 goals on the trot for Fulham or something there or thereabouts. And 93rd minute, Kadeem Harris surges down the left, crosses it in, it clips up off one of the defenders' feet. We saw this for the Derby goal, didn't we, at Leeds, where it just gets a little bit desperate as you're defending that, what you think is going to be the last chance. He didn't want to touch that, did he? Because that pushes it into Big Newey's path. It's a good header, though, diving header into the goal. Thank you, Lewis, for saying he loves the channel. Make sure you tell all your friends, Lewis. Wednesday, 4 points from the first 2 for Monk, so that is good. Billy says Fulham should be pissing this league with the team they have, especially that attack. Well, some people would agree with you, Billy, on that. And I think Monk will be very, very pleased, especially given the nature of being behind with basically 2 minutes of stoppage time to go in this one. 9th for Wednesday, 13 points from 9. Monk is just going to want to keep them in their second quartile, isn't he? Around the edge of the playoffs, and Wednesday fans will surely be happy with that. Experienced Championship manager, experienced Championship player. Obviously, Bannon a bit of an X factor. Harris and Murphy, and Monk always has a good goal scorer. So who's he going to get the best out of? Fletcher or Winnall up there? Forestieri, maybe. God, not exactly his type player, but we'll see. Fulham are now 12th and haven't won in 4, which, if you told me after they got 85% possession against Millwall and won 4-0 that they would be 12th in a few weeks' time, I'd have said, okay, what's going wrong there? Is this reaching worrying levels now? Haven't won in 4. Again, they're a bit draw heavy, like Derby. Obviously, they have a few more wins than the rounds, but 12 points from 8 games. Obviously, look, that looks very different if you win a couple, but they really need to do that, dropping way too many points as per usual. Really high on the possession, but Wednesday better on the XG. Trevor says, how long for Parker if we don't beat Wigan on Friday? God, Parker, at least. I would have thought Parker would have to be in the bottom half, and he'd get at least until Boxing Day. I don't think it will be this international break for sure. But hey, the fans know the pulse of the club, don't they? Arter doesn't start. I predicted he would be back in. Well, I predicted in my notes that he was back in and then didn't read it, but there we go. Animation says, even without the front three, Reed, Aita and Kamara would probably be all right up there. Yeah, they're probably getting most middling Championship teams, wouldn't they? So yeah, embarrassment of riches for the front three there. I suspect Arter starts the next game and Bobby Reed is back out in that one. Game number 9, Reading 1, Blackburn 2. Armstrong loads of time on 8 minutes, not closed down on the edge of the box. Armstrong usually known for running in behind and using his pace, but give him a bit of time and he curled and he found the top corner here. Lovely goal by Armstrong. 48, Dak does it again. He kind of dripped off the radar, didn't he, end of last season, and everyone was like, oh, he's going to be an alright Championship player, when we thought maybe he'd be, possibly play at a higher level. But 3 and 3 for Dak, spins and sticks this one in. John Swift, who is having a good season, gets one back. A nice low drive into the corner. Blackburn moving along very nicely at the moment. 4 wins in the last 6 after an iffy start. And when they're having good games, they're winning, Blackburn. They're winning when they should be winning. So looking good for Mowbray there at the moment. 10th place, 13 points. You think for someone like Blackburn who've been in League One recently, anywhere in the middle of that league is looking good for them, although Chris Wilder at Sheffield United might disagree with you on that. Taxi for Puskas, says Derek. Puskas back in for Reading, back up top with Yao, that very expensive strike force that Reading gambled, not doing very well. Some great 3-game week a couple of weeks ago for Reading with 7 points. They have 3 straight defeats since then and losing their home games. Reading, what are they doing? got me all excited. I tell you what, Reading are going to be in bother if they do get relegated, given that money they've spent as well. There could be an iceberg ahead. Coming up, by the way, I'll put the whole conversation up tomorrow. My chat with Kieran Maguire. Adam says, thank you for the streams. You're very welcome, Adam. Thank you for tuning in. And no, there isn't enough content on the Championship. What a great league. Reading 7 points from 8 games, 20th. They're settling like Wigan into the edge of the relegation zone like last season. Cardiff 1, Borough 0. Warnock would absolutely love this, wouldn't he? An own goal from a corner after 2 minutes. That'll do. Shut up shop. Win the game here. Cardiff doing very, very well at home, aren't they? That's 10 of their 12 points at home. They definitely still haven't clicked. But Warnock will have them there, won't he? And when they do click, look out, because he knows how to get out of this division, doesn't he? Could just do with a little tweak on the away form, Cardiff. Still a couple of injured players to come back. Bamber and Etheridge, I believe, close. Borough 15th now, 9 points from 8 games. It's a tough one for Woodgate, isn't it? Every time they look like they're favourites to win a game, they seem to do it. Every time they're not favourites, they seem to lose, don't they? So looks like a middling season. I'm kind of behind what Woodgate's doing because they play in the right way, but it's going to be tough, isn't it? Youth 4-3-3, trying to move the ball nicely, carry it in midfield. Maybe McNair will have a good season, but it's a tricky one, isn't it? Really, really tricky one for Woodgate. Luton 0, Hull 3. I was surprised by this one. I thought Luton would be more competitive in this one. They were competitive up until minute number 63. Worked in from the left here. Stewart, is he a bit lucky or does he do this on purpose? He volleys it into the ground. It bounces up into the top corner. He'll tell you he did it deliberately. 87, Grzycki, brilliant. What a great player. In off the left-hand side. So greedy but so good at the same time. He's got loads of passes on and he cuts it back into the corner. Very Iron Robin, that one, when you think square it. Oh, he scored again. 3 in his last 3 for Grzycki, remember last year of the contract. And look at that, 3 goals, and Bowen didn't score, although Bowen really involved in this absolutely comically dire own goal for 3-0 on 90 minutes. Looked like he and Sluga, Potts and Sluga at the back had this covered, and they basically bang into each other and sort of fall over. Pollyanna says Stewart very underrated. Yeah, and people like me are very guilty because Bowen and Grzycki are so good. You kind of stop your analysis there. So maybe a bit of lazy analysis on Hull. Maybe Stewart needs more of a shout out there. Ex-Liverpool, I think. Pollyanna helped me out in the feed. But yeah, horrible own goal for Luton there. Let me get my table up. Sorry, not very well prepared here. Hull 14th, 9 points from 8, and that looks like their first win in about 5. Luton have dropped down to 21st. Come on, Luton, stay in the division. It's only down the road for me. Selfish reasons, I want Luton to hang around here. They have 7 points from 8. That probably won't be enough if you extrapolate that. You need to be up and over a point per game throughout the season to survive. That said, it's very slow going down there. There's weeks and weeks go by without any of the bottom 4 or 5. Oh, that's lovely. Super Leeds says Grzycki to Leeds in January. God, he'd be good for Leeds, wouldn't he? If he can follow instructions like Bielsa will want. Brentford 0, Stoke 0. I must admit, I haven't really looked into this one. Let's just get the XG out. Oh, looks like lots of attempts for Stoke. Tight, 0.66 for Brentford, 0.39 for Stoke. On the XG, Stoke will just do anything to not lose at the moment, won't they? Stoke come off the bottom now, 2 points, glory hallelujah. They still haven't won a game, though. This sort of thing will help Jones, though, clean sheets and points. And not being bottom, the fact that Huddersfield are statistically worse than them, helps Jones, who needs a win before that international break. Although this happened to my team, Ipswich, last year. Paul Hurst got his first win The game before the international break, that persuaded the owner to keep him on. Then he lost the next 3 and they wasted another couple of weeks and then they fired him. So you never know what the right thing to do is. Brentford, not impressed at all here. I really like Brentford. They've only scored 5 goals in 8 games. They've got really good defence. Only conceded 6. But Brentford, come on with those attackers. Brentford, come on with those attackers. I know everyone will point to Mopai, but come on, you've still got Mbuema, Watkins and Ben Rama there. You should be able to score more than 5 goals in 8 games, for goodness sake. So Brentford need to kick into gear attack-wise and creativity-wise. Right, we'll do some questions in a minute. If there are people still there in the feed, I'll take some questions. Quickly, individuals here. None of the 5-goal guys added, so we've got a couple of more players joined them. Grant for Huddersfield and Wells, I saw those 2 goals, have joined have joined the top scorers on 5, which means you now have 2 QPR strikers, both on 5. So Hugel and Wells, Grant's got 5, Mitro was already on 5, he's now 2 without scoring, and Taylor also, he's injured though, so expect possibly Mitro or one of the QPR guys to go into the lead. Impressive that Grant keeps doing it for Huddersfield, given how bad they are. Creativity, top assists, Swift and Williams with 4. Sometimes we think assists doesn't necessarily work, but key passes, also John Swift. So he's your guy at the moment for creating opportunities. John Swift of Reading out there at the front. Alex Mowat for Barnsley on the key passes. Mattis Klitsch, Pablo Hernandez where water is wet. And Ryan Manning, who does look a very good player at left wing back for QPR. In defence, Leeds, tightest defence with 4, conceded an 8. Swansea 5 and 8. Forest and Brentford. Forest doesn't surprise me. Brentford get the attacking side of that right, and up the table they go. Right, any questions in the feed, and I will take them. I'm also just getting up the questions from the post I put out on YouTube. I put one out every Monday and every Thursday when we do a live stream. Let's have a look in here. Sorry, moving very slowly today. I left my iPad in the car. Animation Station says, who could be the leader in the Luton team at the back to help tighten up the defence on the pitch? Sonny tighten up the defence on the pitch. Sonny Bradley, if you're picking out an individual. I think the issue is pattern of play though, isn't it? Because Luton play very narrow. The fullbacks come forward, so they do get exposed like that. Hold those for a couple of questions there come in. Ask them again in just a sec. Jaggy Babs asks, why do I think Jack Harrison keeps starting for Leeds? We had this about Helder Costa playing. I just think Harrison's fit. He knows all the pressing triggers, and Bielsa likes people who know his system. That said, he does look. The problem is you're playing the other side to Pablo Hernandez, aren't you? So you're always going to look a bit ordinary, but yeah, maybe there will be a shout for Costa very soon. I love that rumour there of Grzycki coming in there. Nick asked, do I think Bart can keep his place at Millwall? Made a couple of mistakes. I hope so. Those Millwall fans can be a little bit unforgiving, can't they? So I hope for Bart's sake he gets back into form. One of the guys in the feed asked when the interview with Kieran Maguire goes up. Did an hour and a half with Kieran. I will put that up tomorrow night. Really interesting. We cover every championship team. I put some snippets out already. I'll put another snippet out maybe later tonight, and then we'll put the whole thing up tomorrow. There's not enough hours in the day, and my lovely missus has got a bit of a headache, so I'll go and see her as a matter of urgency. But I will try and get one of those up maybe later on tonight. Dean says, hi, just dropping in to say hi from the Premier League. Much love the champions. Dean must be a Norwich fan. Hi, Dean. People keep asking, when am I going to go see Norwich, Sheffield United or Villa? I will try and see all 3 of them at some point this season to get a little update on our alumni who got relegated. Oh, that'd be my team, Ipswich. Well, I've seen them, and we'll try and get a look at Rotherham and Bolton as well in terms of our other championship alumni. Any more questions? Get them in the feed. Hi all, just got in. Preston doing well, in with a chance this year. Yes, Abel, they are. need to be more consistent away from home. Their home form's brilliant. They seem to have more options as well. I keep seeing Harrop and then Bowden and then Barkhausen and then Brown and then Johnson. So there you go. Animation Stations, did my question get any interview? I hope so. I think I did all the Twitter ones. Bring us some luck at Villa Park, Ben. Yeah, give me some luck getting a ticket if it's Premier League games. But would love to come. Maybe I'll try and see two of the promoted teams play each other. So hip to the game. If you want to host me for Villa Sheffield United or Villa Norwich, then please do. Right, any more questions? If not, I will buzz off. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Nick says next Ipswich game, I will for sure be at Rotherham and Southend and Accrington, hopefully. I might try and get to the Gillingham one, the EFL Leasing Trophy one. So there will be an Ipswich game for me soon. I assume if you're watching this, you've already subscribed, so I should plug. If you're not watching this in real time and you're new, hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Every time we have a round of games, I'll try and do a review and a preview. It gets quite hard on the 3-game week because you do end up doing a review on Sunday, a preview on Monday, a review on Thursday. Dean says Norwich v Villa in a few weeks' time. Gets a ticket then, Dean. Favourite ground in the league? God, in the Championship? Oh, crikey. I would have said Villa Park last season. Love going to Leeds. Love going to Forest because of the history. Love Millwall for the noise. For fear of being unpopular, I actually quite like Reading for the view and the access for my snotty middle classness. Milton Keynes has a bloody Wagamama just outside. Get Milton Keynes promoted. And I'll be at Milton Keynes on Wednesday night for Milton Keynes versus European champions Liverpool. Goodness me. Stop moaning, says Steve. Am I moaning? Any more questions in the feed? You can follow me on Patreon. Support me on there. This will always be free, but maybe one day I might get paid for it. So trying to bridge the gap there. All Patreon guys get a shout out at the end of all my pre-recorded videos, and they get access to their questions being asked first. Hopefully we can add some more tiers and whatnot for that. Thank you everybody for watching. If no more questions comes up, I'll always hover at the end here, but if no more questions come up, then I will bid you all farewell and see you tomorrow night. We'll upload Kieran Maguire's whole interview. Then Wednesday I will be, he's obsessed with Wagamama, absolutely. Ellen Road South Stand. I'm always in the big huge West Stand at Ellen Road. Thank you guys. So I'll be at Milton Keynes on Wednesday for the League Cup game against Liverpool. So check out the review of that, and then I'll be Match Experience sometime on Thursday, and then we're back for the next stream, aren't we, on Thursday, and then into another weekend game, week 9. Thank you everybody for tuning in, especially if you've lasted 38 minutes and 46 seconds of me waffling on about the Championship. And as I always say, couldn't do it without you guys. Every time I say something incorrect, someone says, no, it's not like that. And then all of a sudden, I know more about what I'm talking about. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to sign off now. Over and out. See you all very soon.